Hi guys, welcome to another video in our Python 101 series, and today we're going to discuss about variables. So what are variables? Variables are nothing but a name given to a memory address that holds some value. Think of it like a box, and the box holds some mangoes, and those mangoes are some values, and the name of the box is a variable. So in programming or in computer, so suppose this is a memory address. Memory address is nothing but your a box in RAM. Sorry about this. Suppose a address in RAM which is holding the value of 5. And to access this value, we use a variable called x. So when we say x is equals to 5, that means x is pointing to a memory address inside RAM which holds the value of 5. So 1005. Now when we do print x, that means this x, whatever the value in this x is there, no, that's 5, this will be printed. Okay, so that means so basically variables are nothing but a name that points to a memory address that holds some values. Okay, so let's see how we can use them in Python. So in Python, to declare a variable, you just need to give the variable name. Suppose I give my num equals to 5. Okay, so s- this is this simple. So if you print this and run this, you can see the 5 is printed. We are accessing this value using our variable name. Okay, now when we talk about variables, there is something we need to understand, that each and every variable might not be of same type. Now when I say of same type, what do I mean? Suppose when I talk about the box and mangoes, now every box might not hold mangoes. Some box might hold apples, some box might hold oranges. So similarly, in programming in Python, every value has its own type. Okay, so there are different types of values. I'll discuss it one by one. So first I'll give num equals to 5. So our first data type is integer, integer, okay, which is also denoted as int. So integers are nothing but that holds the whole numbers, be it positive or negative. Okay, so integers hold whole numbers, be it positive or negative. Suppose 5 or 10 or 15 or -5, etc., etc. Okay, so next thing is this next is our decimal number. Now to store something with this decimal values, we use a data type called float. Okay, float. So these holds all the whole numbers with a floating point value. Now if you have to assign 5 to this whole number, you'll assign like 5 comma 5, sorry, 5.0 or 5.0. Okay, so floating points or float is nothing but that holds a decimal value. Now in order to hold strings, okay, so there is one more variable data type called string. So string is nothing but that holds our text values. Okay, so when you have to write text values, when you have to store text values inside memory, we use string variables. And always remember, strings are enclosed within the quotes. Okay, either double quotes or single quotes, but you cannot use double quote in starting and close it with a single quote, or vice versa. You have to use the um, you have to be consistent while using quotes. Okay, and one more major data type in Python is Boolean value. So I'll declare my bool here, okay, equals to. Now these values hold either true or false values. Boolean can only hold true or false. So this is mm, string which is denoted by str, okay, and this is Boolean value which is denoted by bool, okay. So these are the data. So this Boolean will only hold either true or false, okay, which is also called as 1 or 0. So these are the main four types of data types that we use in Python. Now let's when you see here, you can see that while naming the variable, I have given the underscore in between to separate two words. So this is mainly because of the readability. So to make our variables more readable, so in real world, in companies, when writing programs, naming the variable becomes very important. So while when we use underscore, it helps us separate the wordings for a better readability. Now I can also name like my name equals to Nabin, but this is not so readable like this, okay. So that's why we use underscore, and we cannot use space, so that's why we are using underscore, okay. So while naming the variables, we have certain rules that we need to follow, okay. So the first rule is we can only use letters, numbers, and underscore. Letters, numbers, and underscores. Okay, we cannot use anything except these, and we cannot have spaces. Cannot have space in between the words, like I showed you just now in the previous example. Third thing is we cannot use we cannot use special characters. Special characters like hashtag or percentage or ampersand, we cannot use them while declaring our variable, except underscore. Underscore is allowed. Except underscore. Okay. One more rule is, as I said here, letters, numbers, and underscores are permitted, but we cannot start our variable with a number. Cannot start our variable with a number. Okay, now I'll show you an example. Suppose I give 1 num equals to 1. Okay, equals to 1. Now if I try to print this 1 num, now you'll see there will be an error. So you can see there is a syntax error. That means this kind of syntax is not allowed. So we cannot start our variable with numbers, but we can start with letters or underscores. Okay, so if I give here underscore num, now you see it will be printed here. So these were some of the rules of defining the variables. Now we saw what are variables, what are the types of variables, and what are the rules to naming the variables. Now let's dive into a concept in Python. That is, Python is a dynamically typed language. So what do I mean by dynamically typed language? So here, when I declare x equals to 5, when I declare x equals to 5, I did not tell Python that it is either it is int or is it float or is it a string, right? My Python automatically detected that this is a integer. This is an integer. When I see when I declare this, when I declare this text, Python automatically found out that this is a str. In other programming language, you had to explicitly declare here what kind of uh, data that my variable will hold. But in Python, this will be handled by Python in runtime. That means when not when you are typing the program, but when you are executing or when you are running the program, Python will decide which data type this is. Now I'll show you something. Suppose I gave my string as Nabin, right? So this is basically an str, or this is basically an string. So now I'll give my string same equals to 5. Now if I try to print my string, what do you think is gonna happen? Now let's run and see. You see here, if I run here, if I print it here, if I print my string here, okay, so we are printing two times, one when this is Nabin, one when this is 5, okay. So you see, first it printed Nabin, but in the second time when we reassign it to 5, it printed 5. So what does this say? In Python, we are allowed to reassign our same variable to a different kind of data type. And Python will handle it without giving any errors or without giving any exceptions. Okay. So this is why Python is also called as dynamically typed language. So what are the benefits of having a dynamically typed language? So the main benefit is that we don't have to explicitly tell what kind of data my variable will hold. Python will take care of it. It's more clear and more easy to read for anyone for who is writing code in Python. Now, there are some drawbacks to this also. The main drawback is suppose you are writing a program and suddenly until you execute the program, you won't be knowing if your variable have the data type that you wanted. Suppose you wanted a data type variable, this my string to hold a string itself, but right now it's holding 5. So until I execute this, it won't say that as an error. And only by logic I will get to know that okay, this is a mistake. So this is one drawback of dynamically typed language. Okay. So when I say, suppose I have assigned my num to 5 and this to float, now how do I check what kind of data type is my variable holding? So for that also in Python we have a inbuilt function that is type function. So using this function we can find out if my variable is holding um, what kind of data. Okay, suppose if I give type equals to uh, my num my num, right? So I'll need to print this, so I'll need to pass this inside a print function. So this returns a type and my print will print what was the type of that. So if I save it, sorry, if I, okay, let's check for everything. If we are doing for this, let's do for this also as well. Let's do for this as well. So if you are wondering how am I duplicating, I'm just doing control D, so it duplicates whatever the line it is there. Okay, so my bool, okay, I'll copy and I'll paste it. For now let me uh, just comment these out. Okay, so let me run this. Now you see my Python have all the Python have already determined what kind of data type this is. So my num is a integer class. That class is nothing but the type of it. My decimal is a float, my string is an str, and my bool is a boolean data type. Okay, so I hope you understood what are variables, what are the data types variables can hold, and what are the rules that we follow to name the variables, and why Python is a dynamically typed language, and how we can use the type function to determine what kind of data or variable is holding. So if you have any queries, do let me know in the comment section, and if you like the video, please give a like and subscribe for new videos. Thank you.